Hey YouTube, this is Marcus or Garwin again with another video. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different than I usually do. I'm going to geek out. This video, we're going to talk about some Elder Scrolls lore. And nothing in this video is going to be, I'm not going to be reviewing an Elder Scrolls game. I'm not going to be doing anything of that nature. I'm simply just going to be just basically brain dumping here some thoughts that I had recently about the Elder Scrolls lore. And so if you're not a fan of the Elder Scrolls series, or you're not interested in that sort of thing, this is not the video for you. Now, the footage that you're seeing in the background is of me playing the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition on PC. And the video footage that you're seeing is actually me going through one of the Dwemer ruins in Skyrim. And I thought that was relevant to what we're going to be talking about. I was reading some, because I actually sit down and I like to read a lot of the books in the game. Even if I don't read them at the moment that I pick them up, I'll collect them, take them back home, and sort through them and read them just to get, backstory and lore and things of that nature. And something occurred to me. The Elder Scrolls universe, the planet of Nirn, the continent of Tamriel, and this world, this universe, just this world where the Nords, the Khajiit, the Argonians, the Dark Elves, the High Elves, all these people, they've been around for thousands of years, and technologically, they haven't really moved. And the thought I had was, why in that much time have none of these races invented guns, computers, cell phones, anything that we might recognize as technology? The Aliads and the Dwemer sort of flirted with that, with technology. You can see in these ruins that they obviously took advantage of steam and natural gas, and they had robots that are still roaming around the ruins of their cities, even though they're long gone. The Aliad ruins, you'll find a lot of those actually if you play Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. There's a lot of Aliad ruins in Cyrodiil that you can go through, and they're mentioned sometimes in some of the lore books where they basically say, the Aliad ruins have lights that still glow, thousands of years after the cities have been abandoned. We don't know why, and but these races, the Aliads and the Dwemer, they flirted with technology. Like I said, the Dwemer, you can see here, had central heating and air conditioning, and gas lights and things. But they've never, those are considered like the pinnacle of technological advancement in this universe. Two races that don't even exist anymore. And the people that you actually play as and encounter in the Elder Scrolls games are sort of stagnated in this medieval sort of setting. And I got to thinking, why have they not advanced in this much time? And then it occurred to me, magic is the reason. The technology that we have in our world, in the real world, it's all been developed out of a necessity, a need. We had a need to do this task easier. We needed to be able to communicate long distances, so we invented, the telephone. We needed to light our homes we needed to illuminate our homes after dark, so we invented the light bulb. All these inventions, these technological inventions, arose out of some sort of a need. A lot of it is military. The military invented SMS messaging, which eventually made it into cell phones. They invented the internet, and things of that nature. But if we had had access to magic, like what is so prevalent in the Elder Scrolls universe, would many of those technological advancements have happened? If we had, even if it was not available to every single individual, if we had certain individuals who were gifted in magic, who could shoot fireballs out of the palm of their hands and kill people, or cast illumination spells, or enchant your swords and things of that nature, would we have even bothered coming up with things like guns and cell phones? Because through magic, the tasks that we invented devices to perform could be accomplished with magic much easier. There's no need to invent guns that require construction and maintenance and ship. If you build guns, not only do you have to procure resources and train people to manufacture those guns, you also have to establish relationships with store owners. You have to set up supply routes. You have to arrange for shipping those weapons to these places. The people who buy those weapons then have to worry about maintaining them and buying ammunition to use in them. And why go through all that trouble if you already have access to magic spells with no additional hardware required that allow you to shoot fireballs and lightning bolts out of the palm of your hand? There's not a need for all this extra overhead when you have something that's just as effective in the very fabric of the world that you live in if you learn how to tap into it. And mages in the Elder Scrolls game can communicate over long distances. A lot of these things that we've developed technology to do for us are already being accomplished in one way or another in the Elder Scrolls universe through the use of magic. And so it's just interesting to me that, they've been around for this long, and the pinnacle of their technological advancement is the Dwemer and the Ayleids, which is still pretty interesting because we still, the Dwemer, although seemingly primitive in a lot of ways, still have autonomous robots running around acting as security guards for their abandoned cities buried all around the world. So that's pretty cool and impressive that they were able to physically construct these things, and then through the use of magic essentially give them enough life to give them instructions and have them perform a task. So on some levels they're more advanced than even we are. Even though they didn't use a computer to program these robots, the end result is the same thing. Us humans, Homo sapiens, we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years as this species, and obviously we've gone through some evolutionary changes, but generally speaking, our species has existed on this planet for a really long time. And it wasn't really that long ago that we thought illnesses were caused by demons. It wasn't that long ago that we had no clue what germs were, or what electricity was, or anything of that nature. The vast majority of the common technological advancements that you think about in our world today have been invented in the last 100 years. And so it's not unreasonable to think that in a universe like the Elder Scrolls universe, where magic is prevalent, they might never develop technology like we have in our world, because there's not a need for it because of magic. And there are hints that there are other forces similar to but distinct from magic. I believe the Psijic Order are referred to a lot of the time as mages, when in reality, according to some of the books you can find about them, they found ways to bind the forces of nature to a person's will, so that the results are basically the same as magic, but the philosophy is itself distinct from what most mages practice. And so there's a lot of forces at work that allow people to do miraculous things in the Elder Scrolls universe without the aid of any sort of technological advances in society as a whole. I mean, heck, the Psijic Order made their entire island of Artaeus, or Artaeum I believe it was, disappear, and it just reappears when they want it to, or they can teleport instantly. They can communicate with people telepathically. I mean, they have no motivation to try and build machines to do this stuff for them because they can do it by themselves. You know, when you think about it, even war, the thing which has motivated a lot of the technological advances that we enjoy today, war is fought differently in the Elder Scrolls universe because of magic. There's a book that you can find, I forget the name of the book. If I can find the title, I'll put it in a caption or something here, where basically, I think it was Vivek actually was fighting a war, and they were on a lake, and they were expecting their enemy to come from one side or the other because the lake was in the way, you know, and they knew that their enemy was actually going to be wearing heavy armor, so they wouldn't be able to easily cross through even the shallows of this lake because their armor would weigh them down. And you know, they were sitting there anticipating this attack that had not yet happened, and he looks out over the lake, and a little bit of a glint catches his eye in the lake, and you know, he has sent units of his force out to watch for potential avenues of attack, and this reflection under the water catches his eye, and as he looks down, he sees this massive army approaching him under the water of the lake. And what has happened is, you know, part of every well-rounded military force in the Elder Scrolls universe has battle mages of one type or another, and what had happened was his opponent's battle mages had basically cast a massive water-breathing spell on the entire force, so that they could literally just walk under the water and flank them from the lakeside. And not only, you know, were the enemy not expecting that, but they had the element of surprise because the water mostly concealed them until it was already too late. And so the very nature of people killing each other in battle changes because of the existence of magic, you know. And so, you know, medicine is completely different because even the plants and animals and materials found on Nirn contain within them the same magical properties that mages tap into. You know, those magical properties in the fabric of that world space-time carry over into the flora and fauna of the world, so that a skilled alchemist can simply make a potion using the right ingredients that can do everything from cure vampirism to heal you, to put you to sleep, to make you invisible, to silence your footsteps. You know, they have quasi, you know, just drinking a potion can give a person with no skill in the arcane arts quasi-magical enhancements, at least on a temporary basis. And so, you know, a person who is skilled in enchanting can use the proper reagents to enchant weapons and armor, so that your normal everyday steel claymore is no longer just a regular old steel claymore, but it has the ability to inflict diseases, elemental damage. It gives magical properties to items that can be wielded by people with no magical skills themselves. And so every aspect of life in the Elder Scrolls universe is touched and augmented by the very existence of magic in the fabric of this universe. So it's, you know, I know I said it earlier, but what motivation do they have to invent, say, the gun, when people can literally shoot fireballs or lightning bolts out of the palm of their hands, and even the people who don't have those skills can gain access to items with magical properties, so that even your run-of-the-mill warrior running down the road with a sword and shield to go slay dragons could be wielding items that have enchantments that could do everything from steal life from his opponent and give it to him, that could raise dead corpses to fight by his side, that could poison you, that could inflict elemental damage. You know, those things have augmented combat in the Elder Scrolls universe in much the same way that the invention of gunpowder did in this universe. Now, me personally, when I play Elder Scrolls games, I usually like to play your generic sort of Nordic Viking, you know, heavy armor, two-handed sword type of person. I will use magic spells occasionally, like a restoration spell to heal myself, or like oak flesh to up my resistance a little bit. And I'll, if I get an opportunity to take a good shot with a bow and deal some damage before I get close to an enemy with my sword, I will do so. But magic itself, just being a part of the universe, has colored nearly every aspect of life, and it even limited the types of technology that people were willing to develop. You know, look at some of the mages in the Elder Scrolls universe. Some of them are not the most intelligent people in the world, but they are intelligent enough in the right areas of their pursuits to master magic spells that give them that opens up a world of possibilities for them, without the need to start trying to invent new ways, you know, to do things. You know, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I understand that it's a video game. I understand that it's all make-believe, but it's still, I'm an Elder Scrolls nut. I really love the Elder Scrolls universe and the lore, and it's just something that I've found a lot of interest in. You know, it's like a great book. You know, you can't get enough of going back and reading more of it. My wife is that way about Harry Potter. My brother is that way about The Legend of Zelda. You get into these stories, and you can't get enough. You want to know more, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to sort of brain dump some thoughts I'd had lately about the Elder Scrolls universe. You know, and I understand that the real reason that the technology has not advanced is because it would break the feel of an Elder Scrolls game if all of a sudden some dark elf invented the AK-47 and you could just run around blowing people's heads off. But within the confines of that lore, because that's what I like, that's what I enjoy, and that's the sort of thing that I'm into. Within the confines of this universe and the lore and the laws of this universe, I just wanted to have a thought experiment as to why these people have not really advanced technologically in the time that they have been on this world. So let me know what you guys have in the what you guys think in the comments section. Do you like the Elder Scrolls series? Did I miss something that I may not have yet encountered in an Elder Scrolls game that hints at technological advances that may have been forgotten? You know, let me know in the comments section below. And as always, this is Garrowin out. Y'all have a good one. Take care.